Hi, everyone. Welcome to the fourth City Council candidate interview on the Know Your Candidate VA official page. Today, to start off my Ward 2 candidate interviews, I will be interviewing current mayor and Ward 2 incumbent candidate, Craig Thurmond. So here is a short bio that I got from his website. Broken Arrow Mayor Craig Thurmond is fueled by his desire to serve others. He was born into a family that believes in service. His father served in World War II in the Navy and was at Normandy on D-Day. Craig served in the Marine Corps during the Vietnam War, and Craig's son Gary served in the Army as a combat medic in Afghanistan. Gary is a disabled veteran who now works for Life Flight, saving people's lives on a regular basis. Craig is very family oriented. He loves his family and will do anything for them. He has 6 stepchildren and is very involved in their lives. God comes first in his life. He is a member of South Broken Arrow Life Church, and he is also a small Broken Arrow businessman that has worked in the construction industry for 40 years. He manages real estate developments for a living. He says serving on the Broken Arrow City Council is a volunteer job. He's also very interested in current affairs and has a great relationship with our federal delegation and White House. He constantly lobbies for the citizens of Broken Arrow. Craig loves to mentor people and share what he has learned. He loves to learn about government, current affairs, work, and many other things. He's an avid cyclist and loves music. His stepson, Mark, is a professional musician. You will see Broken Arrow Mayor Craig and his wife, Sandy, at many of his shows and many other live music performances. So welcome, Mayor Craig Thurmond.
Thank you, Aiden.
Yeah. So I usually do some get to know you questions.
Okay.
So the first one is, who would you say that your idol is?
Well, I really don't idolize anyone except for, Jesus Christ is the only one. He's my
Mhm.
Lord and Savior, and He's the one that we want to be like. We want to be a reflection of heaven. So that's the only person that's ever walked this earth that I idolize.
Definitely, definitely. And then since we do have a lot of questions from citizens, I thought we would just start there. So
Okay.
this one comes from Brandy, and this one comes from the actual first interview I did with Kathy, and I loved it so much that I just decided to put in all of them. So it's a few parts, and it says, what are your top 3 things you love about Broken Arrow?
Well, there's so many great things in Broken Arrow, and the people is the very first thing. The people are great, and uh, and the issues that we have with public safety, police and fire do a great job, and the Rose District is
Hmm.
probably the top 3 things that I like about Broken Arrow.
And then how long have you lived in Broken Arrow?
I've lived in Broken Arrow for 29 years.
Mm. And then what is a quality about Lisa that you admire?
Um, well, I think that even though she was paid, she served our community as the liaison for the police department,
Mhm.
and so I think that's very important. I don't agree with some of the unethical campaign practices, but I think anyone that wants to run and volunteer, you have to really commend them for doing that.
Definitely. And then the last part says, what qualities about yourself do you think best represent Broken Arrow?
Hmm. That is a tough one.
Hmm.
I think that Broken Arrow, being friendly is one thing, but also feeling that I'm very I'm told I don't brag enough, but I do believe in a thing that Reagan said, that there's no limit to the amount of good you can do if you don't care who gets the credit, and I really don't care who gets the credit.
Yeah. Okay. And this next one comes from Renee, and she says, would it be possible to change our city system so that citizens vote for mayor instead of the council? And if possible, how would that happen?
Well, we're a statutory system, and so we'd have to
Mhm.
change our former government, where we have a city manager, statutory city manager. That would have to be done. Uh, I imagine you could do a petition and change our former government, but I really think that when we look at our government system and how it works, and we hire a professional to run our city, just because you can get elected mayor doesn't mean you can run a city.
Mhm.
And so I really like our former government right now. So I don't know that we would see a change, but you'd have to change that. And I imagine you could probably there could be some kind of initiative petition that could change our former government to a different former government.
Yeah. This next one comes from Teresa, and she says, prior to the East Walmart on 71st being built, you stated you wanted to prevent 71st and Lynn Lane from becoming like 71st and Memorial. Unfortunately, this is what is happening. With new construction continuing to go in, do you have an idea of how to prevent more traffic congestion in that area?
Well, we would like to see some kind of traffic like 71st Memorial, some, but not a lot. And we're not at that point. There's over 100,000 cars a day. Now the traffic has moved to around 101st Memorial, and there's over 100,000 cars a day that traverse that area. So as far as we're trying to synchronize lights. We're working on lots of things at 71st and Lynn Lane to try and get it where it's easier to get around. We're probably going to have to do an off ramp at 71st and Lynn Lane, and the city manager was talking about that today. It's probably about a $25 million project, and we're going to need state and federal government to support us on that.
Mhm. And then this next one comes from Rhonda, and she says, during your time in the office, what do you feel your three greatest accomplishments have been?
Well, there's been a lot of accomplishments, and I
Yeah.
think Bass Pro was our first one.
Hmm.
The Rose District is another one. I think that trying to bring jobs here has been a huge boon for us, because before we were a bedroom community, and that's what the council wanted us to be. But now we're not. When I first got on the council, we had 2 sit-down restaurants. We just during the pandemic, the chamber checked, and there was 186 restaurants in our community. So we've really grown and provided services for our citizens that we didn't have before.
Hmm. Okay, and this next one comes from Debbie, and she says, what community service, volunteering type of stuff for nonprofits have you done? And then anything other than just sit on a board or the city council?
Well, there's been a lot of nonprofits from OML, Oklahoma Municipal League, to Regional Metropolitan Utility Authority, to the Tulsa Criminal Justice Authority, Tulsa Vision Authority. Um, there's a lot of the Drainage Advisory Committee, the Convention and Visitors Bureau. So I'm on approximately 20 different committees or authorities, and that's what I where I've volunteered a lot, and I spend a lot of time doing that.
Hmm.
Um, so I mean that's what I do.
Yeah, I think there's a list on your website. I think it's craigthurmond.com. I'm
Mhm.
okay, yeah. I was gonna say I saw them earlier. Um, so if anybody wants to see what he's on and all those boards, you can just go to his website.
Yes.
And then this next one comes from Lindsay, and she says, why are the billboards and signs saying re-elect Mayor Craig Thurmond instead of just re-elect Craig Thurmond? She says it seems to be confusing some of the citizens.
Well, the billboards did, the person that did those billboards, they did say,
Mhm.
I mean, they do say mayor, because I'm this position I do
Mhm.
have, but all of my signs say re-elect Craig Thurmond. So there are 4 billboards out there that do say mayor, but everything else does say. So the signs just say
Mhm.
re-elect Craig Thurmond.
Oh, okay, okay. And then this next one comes from Laurie, and she says, if re-elected, how do you hope to unify Broken Arrow after such ugly city council meetings?
Well, I think that the division that we've had has been has not been good, and so hopefully we will have more unifying issues. Only certain issues do we have any kind of divisiveness.
Hmm.
Most of our votes are 5-0 votes, and most of our city council meetings are very normal. But yeah, the divisiveness that we had, um, I mean, that's not good, and we really need to be a better community than that. So I do think that we are going to see that as we go forward with things, and we don't have divisive issues. But
Hmm.
I do think that when we talk about economic development, public safety, all the things that we focus on a regular basis, we don't have a divisive council meeting.
Yeah, yeah. And then this next one comes from Jill, and she says, "Why do you appoint citizens to the planning commission who have to constantly recuse themselves from meetings and votes?"
Mm, I don't um, I don't know if people constantly recusing themselves, but
Hmm.
there are one person on there that I think he's done some engineering in our community, and he recuses himself. But um, I don't know of anyone else that would have a conflict. And if you have a conflict, it's your obligation to recuse yourself and not vote
Hmm.
on anything that you have a conflict on.
Yeah. And then this next one comes from Stacy, and she says, "Why have the nonpartisan council positions become so political? Because city council is supposed to be a nonpartisan position."
It is supposed to be nonpartisan, and I really wish that we'd go back to that. For many years, we were nonpartisan, and it should not be a partisan. You know, we're
Hmm.
elected at large, and we're elected nonpartisan, and it shouldn't matter what party you're in. You're not even supposed to say what party you're in.
Hmm.
You can say that you're conservative or liberal or whatever your belief is, but you can't say what party you're in, and that's straight from the ethics committee, and so I'm hoping that we will get back to nonpartisan elections, because there's not a Democrat or Republican pothole. There's not a Democrat or Republican crime. It's all uh, you know, they're all an issue that we have to deal with, and so it'd be great if we go back to being nonpartisan.
Yeah. And then these next cute few questions come from Matt, and they're concerning the mailer. I don't know if you remember the mailer. It has you and Jonathan on it, and it has like a list of stuff that you support.
I did not send that mailer out,
You
so
did
I
not send that out. Okay.
no no
Okay.
I uh,
Mhm.
my first mailer went out today, and it's the FOP supporting me, and that's
Mhm.
all it is. I mean,
Okay.
so I don't know, and I did not receive that mailer, so
Mhm. That's
I
what, yeah, that's what, when I interviewed Jonathan, that's also what he said, that he didn't know about it until someone had actually showed it to him.
right right.
So
So
that's really interesting.
yeah, so I'm not sure who's sending those out, but
Mhm.
my first mailer went out today.
Yeah. Um, and he has another question, and it talks about a letter that you pinned to the president supporting the border wall, and it
Yeah.
just says, "Why?" It just says, "What connection does Broken Arrow have to the border wall?" Kind of thing.
Well, I think, I served in the Marine Corps down in Yuma, Arizona,
Hmm.
and we had a border wall there, it was very important, and that's really what I said. It was that we uh, we had a border wall there. They've put another wall there now, and it's worked very well. Their sheriff has said that, and so we don't uh, have a necessary connection to the border, but I do think that uh, I support that we have a wall, that we just don't have open borders, because it's not good for our community to have open borders.
Hmm. And then the last part of his question says, "In your opinion, why do you feel you should continue on in your role after 20 years?"
Well, I think that there's still some things that we want to do.
Hmm.
Innovation District being one. There's still things that we're working on. I thought that in 4 years I would get everything done, but it doesn't really work that way in city government.
Hmm.
So there's still things that I want to do in our community that we have not done, that I'd like to continue to work on.
And then this is just for me. Is there a term limit by chance on city council positions?
No, no, there is not
No.
a limit on city council positions. That's why we have an election every 4 years.
Hmm. And then the next few questions come from Josh, and he said, "Where is the innovation district that you announced for your reelection campaign 4 years ago? And if it's not happened yet, will it still happen? And if so, when and where?"
It will still happen, and we're negotiating with someone right now to buy land, and hopefully within a month or two they will close on that land, and we're looking at approximately 90 acres,
Mhm.
and so the innovation district is something that's still very much alive, and um, it's in South Broken Arrow, and that's, we've been working on it now for about 8 years. Nothing happens overnight, unfortunately.
Mhm. And then he says, "Economic development is very important with the city. So what responsibility do you take in the debacle around the Warren Theater area?
Well, the Warren Theater is, and Warren Regal now has shut it down their theater. I
Hmm.
understand they're supposed to open back up, but the developer owns that land is the person that people need to talk to about that.
Hmm.
And my opinion is the land's overpriced, but again, I'm not, he doesn't believe so, and so, uh,
Hmm.
uh, I mean, uh, I don't know what to say about that other than the fact that it's up to that developer from Houston whether if he can sell some of his land.
Yeah. And then he also says, the retaining walls are fixed at this time. What caused the failures to start, and how many tax dollars did it cost estimated to repair them? Was it poor engineering, poor execution, or just cutting costs?
Well, my opinion is we were doing a segmented block wall for many times. We've done these segmented block walls, and I think we're starting to see. I mean, my opinion is just that I'm not an engineer. Is that
Hmm.
we've got hydraulic pressure behind those walls, and also we've had some seismic activity that have caused those walls. So we're not we're not doing any more segmented block walls that are that high, and so
Hmm.
we're doing more of a poured in place wall. So uh, that's a solution that I think is that we need to really push on, and that's what the council agreed on, was to do a poured in place wall to hold things in place.
Yeah. And then there's a couple more questions from him. He says, emails have been sent to the official email for you and other city councilors, but no responses have been received. How responsive will you be to citizens given another 4 years in our city?
Well, emails that have been sent to, attacking us have, some of those I just write back, thank you for your email. I don't, there's no way you're going to change someone's mind.
Hmm.
But, uh, I do believe emails are being answered, and um, that's what we plan on doing and continuing is answering emails, and quite often people don't like the answer that we give, but it is what we uh, it is what we give. But if you uh, when people are trying to bully you, you don't
Hmm.
really uh, uh, respond to those, other than just a response back, thanking them for the email.
Yeah. And then, so it says, as mayor, you select and appoint the planning commission for Broken Arrow. What are the three top qualifying factors for such an important position when making the selection?
Well, we've started, I really didn't agree with that when the state law changed, but so now
Hmm.
a counselor picks a person, and that's who we nominate. So each person, but I do want people to be reasonable and to and somewhat understand how zoning works when they are selected. But I do believe that with now the way it's working, I'll have one selection. Every councilor has a selection. So
Hmm.
even though the state law does say the mayor picks the planning commission, it's not um, it's not how we're doing it now. I
Yeah.
mean, we're getting a recommendation. I do make the recommendation, but we get a recommendation from every counselor in their area.
Hmm. And then his final question is, one of the claims to your campaign is you being able to create and maintain one of the safest cities in America. Could you please describe some of the programs that you personally created and led to keep us safe throughout these years?
Well, sorry about my dog. The first program that we did was we started Concerned Citizens for the City of Broken Arrow, and at that time it was a 501c3, and we started buying materials for and things for the police and fire department because the city was not, and we had to bring that to their attention. When I first got on the council, I was told that we didn't need more police officers. We had better citizens here. That's not the case. The case is that we do need more police officers, and we need more firefighters. And
Mhm.
so I've supported every time that we have added police officers, every time we've added firefighters, every time that we bought equipment. I think that you've got to have a focus on that, or else you're going to focus on something else. But I think that the number one charge of government at any level, whether it's federal, state, or local, is public safety. That's your responsibility. And so I really think that that's very important that we continue on public safety.
Mm-hmm. And then the last question for all of this is from a lot of people, and I've seen it kind of spread over Facebook and other social medias. The first part is, do you, I guess, control your campaign Facebook page, or do you have someone do it for you?
I do have someone do that for me. I don't control it. I talk to my campaign manager that's doing things for me, but I'm not Facebook savvy, so I do have someone else control the Facebook page, and so yeah, I don't know.
Okay, because the main concern was that people were commenting and possibly criticizing you, and they were being either blocked or their comments were deleted and never responded to. So they were concerned that it was you that was actually blocking them and not someone else.
And we have not. I've talked to the group that's doing that and told them, and we don't, we're not blocking anybody now. And so, that's one thing that we don't want to do, is we don't want to block people.
Yeah, definitely. Well, with that being our last question, I wanted to say thank you, Mayor Craig Thurmond, for joining me today. And I wanted to say thank you, everyone that's watching. And I wish you good luck on your campaign. And I guess we will see what happens on April 6th. So
yes, we will.
Thank you.
And, I appreciate you doing this, Aiden. It's really good to get information out. We're not getting enough information out. So
yeah,
I think that it's a great service that you provide to our citizens.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you.